What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect. Today we are going to take a look at the SJGAM M21. This is a follow-up to the M19, and there was an M25 in between there. A lot of people online are calling this handheld the R36S Mini, and I'm not exactly sure those people have ever actually used this handheld before. Let's take a look. Alright, we do have the M21 here. Nice little box. I kind of like the sprinkles or whatever paint type effect they have on here. This is a 64 gig and it is in white, even though that's an off-white sticker. All your stuff here is on the back. Pretty much the same box that SJGAM uses for mostly everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look inside this real quick just to get a feel for it. First off, it does come with an origami accordion and with some good warranty information right here at the end. If you want to fill out the card from your data purchase, you have 7 days warranty, which I'm pretty sure by the time you receive this, if you're anything like me, you're about 2 weeks out of warranty. So tough luck. With the handheld over here, we do have a Type-C charging cable in the bottom here. Now you will notice that there is no screen cover in the box, and that's because SJGAM was nice enough to put the screen cover on the handheld for us already, so we don't even need to monkey with that. Let's go over the I/O of the device real quick. This one's a little different than some of the other ones we've done recently. We do have an on-off switch. Some people do prefer a switch over a button. I'm kind of more of a button guy. This switch is kind of hard to pull. We do have an HDMI out, which the R36S does not have, which is pretty dope. On the back here, we do have our volume up and down. These are going to be very tactile and clicky. They're actually the loudest buttons on the entire handheld. And we do have our shoulders on the back here. They don't have much separating them, so they are a little tricky. They do a little concave, but not a whole lot. And then we do have a removable 3000 milliamp battery, which is kind of nice to have. On the left side over here, we do have our TF slot. Now, anybody who thought that this had an RK3566 in it isn't completely wrong. I'll put this on the poker cam for you. The memory card in this says RK3566 on it. So technically, if you thought there was an RK3566 in here, you weren't completely wrong. But that's the only RK3566 in this device because it has a brand new, at least that I know of, CPU to this market. We're going to go over here to the right side where there's absolutely nothing. On the bottom here, we do have our charging port set up for our Type-C, and then we do have a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the front here, we do have our display. It is a 3.5-inch display, 640 by 480, like most handhelds of this caliber. We also have our menu button, which is oddly not clicky. Also start and select, oddly not clicky. We do have our D-pad, which I am not a fan of. If you read my written review on this already, it's something, man. It's stiff. But you know, the nice thing about a stiff D-pad like this is you might be able to wear it in and it might be okay. One of the problems with the R36S is when you wear it in the D-pad, it doesn't work anymore. We might actually have an opportunity here to have a good D-pad after a few hours of gaming. We do have our face buttons. These are nice. They're candy coated. They don't fall too low. We'll take a look here. They stay above the edging here, and they're actually evenly spaced, and the height is even on them, which is kind of nice. We've kind of seen a weird thing with that lately. We do have a front-firing speaker here, and then we also do have our joysticks, which are not clicky, which is kind of weird. Because even in their M19, these were clicky, so I don't know what happened there. We will fire this device up. So this is a hard switch to pull, and while it's firing up, we will have a conversation about the specs on this handheld. So we are looking at the M21. This does run Linux Emelec 4.3 as a front end. It is a 3.5-inch form-fit LCD 640 by 480 display. Its CPU is an N909 dual core, one core running at 1.2 gigahertz, the other core running at 1.8 gigahertz. We should be able to get the best of both worlds between an RK3326 and an RK3566 out of this handheld with those two separate cores. One would think allows a single memory card up to 128 gigabytes. This one has a 64 in it. It is 3D rocker, again, not clickable. Type-C charging, 3000 milliamp battery. It is 5 volts, 2 amps, like most of them are. They say 6 to 8 hours. I think that's hogwash, but we'll find out. It does have a single 1 watt 8 ohm speaker, HDMI out, which I think is pretty dope that they actually added HDMI to this one. You do have that 3.5 jack, and you can buy this with 2 controllers. It is an option for this handheld, and you can only use their controllers with it as far as I can tell. And that is kind of nonsense, but I haven't found any way to use other controllers other than theirs, so we can take a look at that as well. But here we go. Moving on to the handheld, we will go through what we have the abilities to access here in Emelec. We do have lots of game systems. It does tell us that we have 20,000 some games on here. Sure, I guess. 20,238. If you hit the menu button out here, nothing happens. You can get into the start menu, not here either. It's a weird thing with Emelec. Oh, maybe it's just frozen. Never mind, it's just frozen. It does this a lot. I guess you can get it right there. Okay, so let's try it again. Start menu. Yep. So here is our settings. So if we go into system settings, we have the ability to see what version of Emelec we have on here, as well as change the language. And yet half the menus are still in Chinese, which is odd. I don't really understand that. You have sound settings, so you can turn the volume up and down from here. Also have a volume switch right back here on the back, so I don't know how useful that'll be. Your backlight settings, I think this is about 60% right now. Yep, that's usually about where I play at. On most of these handhelds, we can restore. So that's it. That's all we got. And this also tells you which version of Emelec you have. So, okay. Cool. We got lots of things telling us the same thing. Now, if you go into a system, you'd think you get more options, but you don't. You get the same stuff. If you go into a game, one thing that is interesting is because this D-pad is so stiff, you get so many false diagonals. We'll see if it happens now. It probably won't now that I'm doing this. As you're searching, it tends to, switches systems on you. It's almost impossible to choose a game with this handheld. You have to really want to play it to actually go anywhere with this, because it is, look at that, constantly. You know what, we could probably do the contra test on here. I wonder, I haven't tried that yet. Let's give that, you can go side by side just fine. Your ups and downs though are where you start getting false diagonals, which I'm wondering if that's why this menu goes side by side, because usually an Emelec that goes up and down, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I test so many of these things I can't remember right now. But we will take a look and see something here real quick. We'll do a contra, oh my gosh, now we're stuck. It's frozen again. Let's give it a minute. It'll come back. Nope. Nope, still frozen. Nope, there we go. Getting worried there for a minute. I didn't think it was going to unfreeze. This is supposed to be able to play up to PS1. It can play PS1 games. They aren't upscaled or anything like that, and you can't change that because you don't have any access to that. You know, maybe we'll just make this a quick video and I'll just show you a PS1 game. No, we'll just try the Contra test here real quick and see what happens. Now watch, Contra's not on here. Okay, let's do a search here real quick. Okay, we're better off just using the joystick. And the joysticks also get false diagonals, which I've never seen before. I don't really understand why they went to a non-clicky joystick. They actually went back from where they were on their M19. Oh my goodness. Boy, it's really easy to tell when you look on here, stuff moving around. On their M19, they did have clickable joysticks, and they did work better than this, so I'm not sure what happened there. I do have a review for that handheld. I'll throw it down on the thingamabob. One thing that was weird about that is when I got it, it didn't have a memory card, which meant I didn't have an operating system, so I had no way to use it. So initially, I used my M18 software on my M19, and it worked fine. I have some updated software on my M19. It takes forever to get anywhere on this handheld. How do I keep ending up with another T, or am I just not deleting it? Maybe this will be enough letters I don't have to suffer through it. I don't know what this is. I can't read it, and it doesn't have any art. Let's find out. NES test. Okay. Working RAM. Okay. I've never come across this before. False diagonaled. Yeah, okay. Well, that's probably good enough. That probably gives you enough of what you need to know, as you see it just bouncing back and forth. Anytime you hear those double beeps, that's what that is. Joystick. What is this? Well, you can tell it's not hitting the corners. There we go. Sort of. What in the hell kind of test is this? Oh my goodness. I'm so confused. Any button to do the next test. Any button to do the next test. I don't know what those last couple tests were. I've never seen this thing before. This is so crazy. Okay, so when you go in the menus, if you do end up picking up this handheld, just and you don't know Mandarin, I will help you out. The top one here is resume. Then you have save, load, and exit, in case you need to know any of those things if you end up with this handheld. All right, we're gonna just test out a PS1 game here real quick. And there's 51 games on here, and they get a little, I guess I haven't tried Tomb Raider. I don't know why that's the #1 game on here, but they do have their library numbered. I hate when they do that. Oh, it's frozen again. Oh, there we go. Let's see if Ridge Racer's on here. Oh, good, we can use the shoulder buttons too, so that's good. How about Tekken? Can we do some Tekken and try to do some Shinoukens? Yeah, that's gonna work out fantastic on here, I'm sure. It's frozen. Let's wait for it. There we go. Ooh, Speed Racer. Oh, now we're in Super Nintendo. Super Famicom. What happened to PlayStation? Or did we follow the PlayStation a while ago? And I didn't even notice? Yeah, there's only 51 games in here. Why did I... Oh my goodness. Okay, it's done. Oh, good. Now we're in Super Nintendo. I'm not going to do a lot on this because as you can see, it's very frustrating. We'll try a Street Fighter match here real quick and just for kicks and giggles. All right. Little PlayStation Street Fighter. Yeah. So, I mean, it runs fine as far as speed and everything goes, which I think this chip should be literally the best of both worlds because you pretty much have a 3326 and a 3566 between the two different cores. So you should be able to kind of maximize. I mean, obviously they don't run separately, but you should be able to maximize that. You can't do any of his moves. I mean, I'm not very good at him to begin with, but it's just not happening. Wait, did we just vanish and pop across? I missed that. Okay, I was going to play another game, but it froze. I got Ridge Racer saved on here now, but I don't even want to play it anymore. So visually, I can see why people are calling this the R36S Mini. I get it, kind of. It really isn't. I mean, it is. If you get the same color, they kind of look the same, I guess, because of the concave joysticks. But other than that, I mean, they're very different handhelds. This is only a single TF slot, for instance. This has double. This does have an HDMI out, which is pretty dope, but this does give you the option to use Wi-Fi through a Wi-Fi chip. So that is a nice option. There'd be no way to do it on here because you couldn't get into it in software, and there'd be no reason to because you wouldn't be able to do anything anyways. Other than that, they're not overly similar. So there's definitely a difference in height and all that kind of stuff. There is likely an opportunity for somebody to do something with this. I don't see anybody doing it. The buttons suck. The backgrounds actually are fine, but you don't use them for anything other than menus. So the buttons kind of suck. This D-pad is absolutely garbage, and it works on its own sometimes, which is crazy. These sticks, for some reason, seem to somehow, I don't know, it's not cardinal snapping. They almost seem like they have like accidental diagonals. I don't know how to understand on these verticals how SJGAM went from this, which is I like this M19, other than the fact that my Y button's all jacked up. This is a nice handheld. It's got good buttons on the back. Like, this is a great option. This, to me, seems more like the new R36, honestly. It's just a better handheld. And they kept these similar buttons here. These are raised a little bit higher, but they're the same buttons, I think. Why did they go backward so far? Now, this is eventually going to end up being probably a $30 handheld. Right now at $40, it's overpriced. At $30, maybe. I don't know. You can play the games once you can get into them, but again, you're still getting those false inputs all the time, so you might be all over the place in a game, which is very frustrating. If I were to pick up anything from SJGAM right now, I would get the M19. It's a good handheld. I would just pass on this, at least, unless somebody can look at that. Unless somebody can figure out this chip. Oh my goodness. Because it is just absolutely garbage right now. I think there might be an opportunity there, but I don't know enough about this chip. I did some research to see what else this chip has been in, and I couldn't find anything. All I could find when I googled this chip was people asking what this chip was because of this handheld. I couldn't find anything else. That might say a lot. I'm not sure. It might be brand new. It might be used in a toaster or something. We don't know. We have no idea where that came from. So at this point, I would say just leave it alone. I don't think any dev's going to touch it. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I just don't see it happening. There's just too much wrong with it. It would be one thing if it was just a software problem, but since the overall physicality of the device is garbage, I think that they're just not going to do it. It's unfortunate because I was really excited to get this handheld. I thought, like everybody else, because I read their comments, that this was going to be like an R36 Mini, which it kind of could be, like I said, but it's just not there. The R36 is a reliable handheld for a budget price. This is an unreliable handheld that's right now $10 overpriced. I think it's going to come down to 30. Then you can make your decision at that point. I think if you're going to go with SJGAM right now, the M19 is probably the best option, unless you really want to get the behemoth and bust out the M18. This thing's kind of fun. It's a weird 16:9 vertical handheld. I don't know why they made this, but it actually works better than that thing does. So I guess, it's a better handheld than the one we're reviewing today. So that might be the route to go. In today's age, we have enough handhelds in this price range that do much better, that aren't quite as boxy. They don't feel as cheap. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends, because sharing helps grow the channel probably more than anything else does, honestly. We get a lot from shared videos. And then also, if you're bored, there's a couple extra videos here on the end. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Those are going to go to other videos of mine. So if you like this content, you can hit them. And also there's a subscribe button right there on the screen. You can hit that too. I got a couple of really cool reviews coming up that I'm working on right now. So if you do subscribe, you might get a chance to see those at the same time as everybody else, because I don't do that memorable crap. Not yet, anyways. That's all I got for today. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.